Well, hey folks, it takes a lot of strength to be alone. Hey, Hunt the Back, welcome. It takes a lot of strength to be alone in a culture not your own. A lot of people don't realize this. We all have our burdens to bear, our crosses to carry, and we don't always think beyond our nose. Hey, Gripin, welcome. Hey, Mark, thank you. I am all right, Mark. I went to church today. I love my pastor. He's a good teacher. He's 70s. And he got saved in 91. I got saved in 85. Good sermon today, but I'll tell you what. Now I'm just going to say it. I'm not here to talk smack. I love my pastor's a good, faithful teacher, but people today, I'll tell you what, I just don't feel it at church. Something has shifted over the years. It's very hard to get close to people. And then when people are really nice and offering to do this or that, I start to think, uh-oh. You know, it's got us trained that you don't know who you can trust today. I've been out here 6 years in Augusta, Georgia. And I have little to no community. When I had my roommate, that was a good thing. We keep in touch every day. But her presence not here has just been like a raw wound. It's been tough. And I realized something today. I'm not comfortable. I am not comfortable with certain people living in or even being in my home. You know, people said, oh, rent out rooms. No. Because of what I've been through in life, this is a really strange dichotomy. And I was talking to a friend of mine. I don't want a man living in my house. At all. I do not. I was going through some stuff this week going, I'm the head of my house. And I had friends a couple years ago, they're married and they wanted to move in here. Yes, Mark. Absolutely, thank you. And I like my friend up in New England. He married a woman. I said, look, no married couples in my house. I said, you're a man, I'm not comfortable. I remember years ago, I had a married couple living in my apartment. I let them live in for a few months before I jetted out of Arizona, moved to Duluth. And it was just little stuff. He had a job at a mining company during the evening. I'd get off my shift at the aluminum factory. He's leaving. We'd say hi, bye. His wife was there. She would talk to me. No problem there. She's the one that actually got me turned on to Duluth. She showed me her scrapbook. And the minute I saw the pictures and the postcard of Lake Superior, I said, that's where I'm going. She goes, what? I said, That's where I'm going. I didn't even know a place like that existed. You're talking about winter, there's ships, it's a great, I'm out of here. And that began my adventure. Just a postcard of Duluth, Minnesota. Yeah, absolutely. And welcome, Bob. And so I told, the name was Ivan and his wife, and I just said, guys, you're the head of your house. I'm the head of mine. And this couple lived with me, and I had to go downstairs and paint and plaster and do some lath and plaster repair. It was an old 1890s apartment building. And the floor I lived on was a 50s add-on. It was a very cool penthouse apartment. It had a plumbing shop down on the street level on the first floor. He owned the building and he built a 50s big glass windows that overlooked Prescott and Thumb Butte in the distance. Had wrought iron railings. I rented that place for $300 a month because I became the manager collector rent. $300 a month. Huge living room. Big, had its own private door, staircase, and it had a giant roomy kitchen, had a beautiful bathroom. Everything was pink. The tub, the toilet, the sink. And he built it as a model home to show plumbing fixtures. So it was dated when I rented it, but it was still the posh place for a small town. You live downtown, they'd have parades, they'd have craft shows. You were right there. I loved it. But when that married couple, and we were all peers, we were the same age. I was downstairs working, and she did something. I came up, I was exhausted. I came up to get some lunch, and she come at me and said, Mike, there's something wrong with the dryer. And I smelled the burning smell, and I said, what happened? I opened the dryer door, and she had had some pantyhose. They say you need to ball them up or something. She put them in there. They got in between the drum and the thing, wrapped around, started to melt. And she was right, and I got kind of snippy. I said, man, I can't fix this right now. I said, man, you can't put pantyhose in here. And I didn't yell, but I was a little short. And I was pissed. I said, I'm going to have to do this later. I got to finish downstairs. I came home and her husband come up and said, look, Mike, that's my wife. And I said, well, this is my apartment. Okay? So, and that made me realize something. You don't want to get in the middle of a marital situation. You can't do it. And Denise, you're not Jesus. So when Jesus talks to me, I'll listen to him, but you are a woman, and I don't believe you're Christ the Lord. You waited 5 minutes to become a subscriber just to tell me that? Thank you. That's awesome. That's awesome. That really shows the lengths you'll go to troll me. Congratulations. It is a shirt. And it's hot down here, and it's comfortable. I'm in my house. You got any issues with that? Oh, wait a minute. Jesus wouldn't appreciate it, but you're saying laughing my ass off. Hey, Tyler, how are you doing? We'll give you 30 minutes, Denise. Have a good day. I don't got time for this. But I realized, make your world. Thank you, doggy. Hello, Amar, how are you? I'm all right. No, thank you, Tyler. Yes, Tammy, I asked you, do you live in Augusta? And how did you know it was Broad Street? Yeah, it's all a distraction, Mark. People want to fixate on dumb stuff like what shirt I'm wearing instead of what we're discussing. So, wow, this stuff cooks fast. How do you find your world? And I'll be honest, I'm a friendly guy. Hey, Nikki. Gentleman Jack. Would I cut my hair for $10,000? Why? You got 10 grand? Here in Texas. How'd you know it was Broad, Tammy? You been here? What am I looking for? Trying to fix my stuff here. I'm going to have to move the video over here so you can see me. What do you mean no comment? Tammy, how'd you know it was Broad Street? This is just a simple question. Now you're making me nervous. Whiskey? Doggy, what are you doing with a bottle of Jack? Doggy's got his bottle of Jack. Don't be a bad dog now. Tammy, why can't you answer the question? I'm not understanding. That's kind of creeping me out. Just being honest. You trying to find somebody to knock me off when I go down there? I mean, what's going on here? But no, I got trust issues, man. And today, it seems like so many people have a motive, you know? When people are really super nice, I start to go rut-row. And it's sad that we live in that kind of a world. And I notice even me, as I get older, I have to be more wary of people and cautious. You have to be. It's so sad when you look at America, people really try to scam seniors. I can't believe anybody would stoop to that. And it goes on all the time. I remember in Hibbing, Minnesota, I knew a lady. They had told her they wanted to tar her driveway, and I forgot what they did, but they charged her a price. They did a really crappy job, and she had a hard time getting up and out of her house quickly. Oh, got you, Tammy. Yeah, I used to go to the Soul Bar, and I've stopped going because it's just gotten crappy. They used to play 80s music. Now they're only, I'm going to be honest, this is what's happening here. They're catering only to the black community, and they're playing all the rap with all the N-word and the F-word, and I don't want to listen to it anymore. I'm sick of it. And it used to be a pretty middle-of-the-road place, and then some of the people were there that were nice, and I ran into a bouncer who worked there the other day. It's just, nobody wants to go there. The bouncer doesn't work there anymore, and he's a good guy. I like him. But, yeah, the Soul Bar was fun a few years ago, but just like everything just starts to shift. I'd go in there and play pool and stuff. There was a bartender I was friends with. She's turned into a unpleasant person now, hating on everybody. I never did anything to her, but when I spoke to her, I'm like, whoa, she switched up. I don't even want to go. I don't drink anyway, but sad, man. I just went to shoot pool and dance to good music, and the music sucks, and there's nothing else to dance to. I just feel like our country, little by little, is becoming unrecognizable even to myself. It's kind of sad. And you're right. I'm absolutely stuck in the 80s. Yeah, and I would play with strangers, Amar. People say, you want to play? Most people can beat me. Sometimes I'd have a good bit of pool shot and win. But then we had a problem. The guys would go in there and lay 10 quarters down, and nobody could get in and get a game because there's only one table. But they got a place down the street called the Pub. They got tons of tables. Now you have to help me on this. They got the ones with the bumpers in the middle. What is that? Billiards? But that one's very different. And that place is packed. That's been known for fights. You can buy some really greasy cheeseburgers and stuff in there, but yeah, I like the 80s music too. And what's happening is us that grew up on that, we're getting old. And so these nightclubs, the younger generation's coming in, they don't want to hear that stuff. They want to come in with their pants down, their butt cheeks hanging out, and they want to listen to that crap. I'm like, I can't change it. It's just time for me to go. I don't want to listen to it at all. Just not my favorite thing, man. It's a jasmine rice. This stuff, I tell you what, there is a difference from that minute rice. This jasmine is the bomb. I'm here to tell you. I'm sold on it, man. This stuff is good rice. But our pastor had a good message today, and I have to really discipline myself. I got a message from a friend of mine. I started to talk about this yesterday. Oh my gosh, Mix Up TV commented. I haven't seen her in a while. She lives in Puerto Rico. Beautiful woman. She likes to post a lot of the oldies. Cool stuff. My friend Carl, he born and raised in California. He met me on my old YouTube. And he lived in an apartment, shared apartment. And they wanted to jack up the rent. And he and the other guy moved out. He ended up on the streets. He was a security guard at a mall. Guy's my age. He said he bought a small cargo van to live in. Guess he lost that. And he's sleeping in a sitting position. The back of his legs were red and like severe psoriasis. And I messaged him, I said, man, you need to call your sister or somebody in your family. You can't live like this, man. I hate what's happening in California. You cannot do a blue collar job and make it there no more. You can't do it. Not unless you have your own business and gouge the heck out of everybody. And I told him years ago, you got to get out of there. And he gave me a hard time for moving to Georgia. I said, yeah, but at least I can afford to live out here. I don't like the culture. The culture sucks. But I can live. And we're going to give it hell to make it work. I fought hard on this house, so. But I prayed. I said, God, and he even told me, he says, how long? He said, I'm not close to God. He said, I'm upset right now. And man, I can relate to that. And I just prayed. I said, God, get him off the street. And I mean, I thought, should I help him? I'm like, I can't help him. I can't pay that rent down there for him. You know, and it sucks, man. Everybody appreciate what you got. Oh, he wasn't getting comfortable. He was living on the street doing a security job. He couldn't afford the rent. And he bought a little van that he was living in, and the way he wrote it sounds like he lost that. It really angers me when you see Gavin Newsom. He just bought a what, $9.2 million house? I really get mad at people like that. Mr. Gelmeister can't run the state, doesn't know what he's doing, having kayaker arrested in the Pacific Ocean, during COVID, goes and buys a $300 dinner at a French restaurant, him, his wife, and a medical entourage, no masks. But he demanded all the hair salons and business be shut down, and Pelosi too. walking through that salon with no mask. And then when she was caught, she said, "This is a shut up." And I said, "You know, God, it is unfair what is going on. People are filthy rich. They're running these states and people into the ground. They do not care about blue collar people. And it's really getting to me." Dougie, I need your prayers, but could you guys please pray for Carl? Just, if you think about it, pray for Carl. I feel bad for him. You can't tell him what to do. I just said, you need to call your sister something. You can't do this, man. You got to get off the street. You're working full time. And I told him a few years ago, get out of there. Go to another state and get a job. At least you can live. California's ridiculous. There is no affordable place in California. It is. And I've never had a friend who's homeless like that. And that depressed me last night. I said, you know, that could happen to any one of us. Any one of us. Anytime. Never take it for granted. And I'll be honest with what's happened to me. You know, I even asked my friend Tina, man, did I do wrong by making that 3-minute video? Did I shit in my pants? She goes, no, Mike, you've always been outspoken and you did nothing wrong. She said, I still believe that they have no right to do that. Hi, Sarah. I like all the pretty blue hearts. And I talk to people far and wide. No one thinks that was right. And I feel like you see it this morning when some of the trolls are coming in. And I'm going to say it again. This happens to me because I spoke out about that white woman being beaten down by 6 African Americans in Cincinnati and how wrong that was. And then just in the last few days, a Ukraine woman sat down on a bus, this little petite woman, looked at her phone, and a black guy behind her rised up with a knife and took her life away for no reason. CNN, MSNBC didn't report it. I've been watching videos, and I'll tell you what, I'm outraged by this. It is an attack on us. And the Democrats created this hostile environment, Maxine Waters. And it finally hit me today when Pastor's been talking every week about Christians going through suffering. I'm noticing something. Everybody that I know that's a Christian is not having it easy right now. Anywhere. It's almost like God's putting the screws on us or something. You know? And Mark, thanks for encouraging me to stand on the truth. And thank you for saying that, because I'm human. Getting fired bothers me, and I got to try. When my life is going like this, I don't need to make major decisions right this minute. But this is against my nature. I like that security of having work. I look out there and it's like $14 an hour part-time to push carts around at Walmart, and it's only part-time. I would push carts. I like to move. But give me 8 hours. Come on. 14 an hour? That's it? You cannot live I have a minimum I can live on. Thankfully, I don't own a mortgage and I don't have car debts. But the pay in this area is a joke. Thank you, Pond. Wow, Tammy, that is sobering. Nikki, I appreciate that. And I'm not trying to throw a pity party. I'm trying to just be strong and face it. I went to church today. A coworker called and asked me to help her pull she had a rug over the carpet. Wanted me to pull that out, and she bought a new rug from Temu and move a bunch of her couches and furniture around. But I don't have a community here. I went to church this morning. You know that small church? You know how many of those people never even say good morning? I mean, I'm new. I mean, I've been there a while now, but it just amazes me that people just don't get out of their comfort zone anymore. It's like there's just this big I don't care anymore. It's crazy. And I don't expect people to give me a parade, but you need to have community, you know? And some of you guys, Bob and his wife, we're in touch regularly. That's been a godsend. Nikki and I are in touch. Tanya and I are in touch, another moderator. And Mr. Russell, we just spoke today. I've known him for a long time. I thank God for that. Social media does have its place. When you live in a twisted world like this, it's good that I have this outlet. What really bothers me more than anything else, my friend told me that another driver pulled up to the pumps Friday and said, "Where's the other guy?" My friend said, "I don't know." She goes, "I really miss Mike because he was down here every day." And I told her, I said, "Boy, wouldn't it be funny if all the drivers went up and stormed the office and said, 'Where the hell is Mike? He got stuff done. What's the deal?'" That'll never happen, but you wish it would. Not that I want to work there, but I think it'd be funny. It's a couple of troublemakers that did this. Somebody going on about my clothing again. Yeah, but I don't share the core beliefs of most people, Glass King. I am a conservative and a Christian, and I just wear what I want. Do you know what's going on in the nation every day, Glass King? People are being killed. Whites are being targeted by blacks more and more. Are you concerned about that? You should be. This isn't hurting anybody. No, I don't, Stone Bluff. I'm not into that gay kink stuff. I love my pastor, but he's a Southerner. He doesn't believe a man should have hair like this. Now, he didn't say that to me, but he did in the Sunday school class said, when he got saved in 1991 in Brunswick, Georgia, he went to a church where the pastor, anybody came in with long hair said, We tell people come as you are, but when you come to Jesus and you get saved, you're going downstairs and I got a barber chair down there and I'm going to cut your hair. And I thought to myself, over my dead body, no priest are going to cut my hair unless I submit to that. And I don't care if I'm in the South or the North. This has no bearing on my work ethic. This has no bearing on my Christianity. It's hair. People need to get over that crap. And the South is not known for being the greatest on many fronts on a worldwide level. They got some rooted traditional norms down here. Now, my pastor hasn't come up and said that to me. And if he did, I would respect him. I'd say, Pastor, I come here because you preach the truth. I'm not a Southern boy. I lived in Minnesota. This is called a hat. 38 below, and I didn't grow it like that there. I'd love to go back to the Great Lakes now. I know for a fact if I went up to the Great Lakes now, this would be like, dude, I love the hair. The South isn't fond of it, but I do have people come up to me here. You want to know who it is? Black females come up and tell me they love my hair. Ironically. Thank you, Nikki. I'm blessed. Tree cutter. I'm not wearing this outside. Are you worried about people getting killed riding a bus because they're white? Does that bother you at all? Did it bother you? A woman got attacked and her face stomped coming out of a jazz festival in Cincinnati by 6 blacks. Does that bother you? We get an endless stream of people coming in here with my attire. Why? Why are men the ones fussing about that? Mostly. Why is that? I don't go on anybody's stream and comment on men and their attire because I'm not into that. They want to dress whatever and do what they do. I don't care. If I don't like the stream, I'm out. That's it. Michael Nelson's after content. Michael Nelson after stuff that grabs my brain cells. That's all right, Nikki. That's right, Amar. How are you, Ever? They do. They do, Mark. I don't understand the fixation with that. You're on his tree cutter. Have a good one. You missed out on good intellectual content here, though. I'm just going to tell you. Mob, did we get there, really? That's awesome. John, I would tend to agree with you on that. Look, you only live once, right? They made donuts for the longest time. Now you got donut holes. You can't please everybody. Yeah, we're trying to go to 10,000 now. Lauren, the same old mac and cheese, jasmine rice, can of tuna, and a can of peas and carrots. Pretty much covers all 4 food groups there. Thank you, Omar, and I'm glad you're here. My favorite hobby, I haven't done it in a while, but I like traveling overseas. I love music. And that's the thing. Let's nail this, okay? You got Christians, they got suits and ties, they got a studio, and they got a YouTube channel. And you look, members only comments. They're making a living. I find that somewhat distasteful. This channel attracts black, white, Asian, Hispanic, male, female. Sam is a corporate guy. We got blue collar in here. We got Christians. We got non-Christians. We have gay, straight, and bi. Does anybody stop and think, isn't that an awesome platform to be able to have that much reach? You know, I'm sorry. I had to dig into myself today. I go to a Baptist church, and I like the pastor, but the Baptist church, every church has its little fingerprint. Baptist church, traditionally, for me, I got saved in a Baptist church. They know the Word of God very well. But when it comes to love and warmth and care and compassion, it seems to be lacking. Just something I've noticed. The Baptist church tend to be kind of cold stoicism, very matter of fact. You'll get good theology, you'll get good teaching. I totally recommend a Baptist church for proper understanding of the Bible. Churches that seem to be a little more friendly to me were not always really doctrinally astute, but like your Assembly of God, your charismatic. But then there's another raft of problems with that. You know, they're all yelling and going shabba-dabba-dabba-dabba, scooby-dooby-doo, and speaking in tongues, and that's very uncomfortable. Yeah, it does, Amar. You're absolutely right. Misread labels as liberals. That's right. Peter, what am I wearing? Can you see it? You want to tell me? I mean, everybody keeps asking, Peter, what are you wearing? Tell the room what you're wearing. Do you have underwear? Do you got pants on? What do you got on? You want to come to chat and ask what a man's wearing. Why? Jalen, I do too. It's comfortable and I like the color of it. It's good for the house. 2000 vibes, yes. So, I'm an eccentric. I'm a different kind of a guy. I grew up in a woman-dominated family, so I have a little more sensitivity than most men do. Most men just tend to be devoid of any feeling. I like trucks. Thank you, Jennifer. I did all this. All that you see, I did. 100-year-old door, paid $10, scuffed it, varnished it. I hung it, did my own moldings, did the ceiling, salvaged this 1950s Dottie pine out of the house, turned it around, turned it the wrong way, flipped it backwards because it was scratched and gouged. And I went ahead and it's got some distress. There's some big scratches even in this. This was a rental property and kids and people tore it up. Tore it up. Let me show these guys something. I may wear a woman's top, but how many of you boys drive one of these? Anybody? That's my truck. So don't worry about my shirt. I'm plenty manly, but I have a feminine side and I happen to like it. And no, I don't have a feminine side with dudes. I like women, but I've been single for a long time. These days, it just seems to be the safer alternative anymore. Relationships are just drama and problematic. And to find somebody that you're copacetic with is just getting very hard to do. Thank you, No Jam. Jennifer, that thing's a beast. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate your encouragement and thanks for coming. You be careful in that UK. Stay out of all that crazy stuff in London. I'm so sad to see what they're doing to London. It's just heartbreaking. Jalen, if you look on my channel, I'll get to that, Jennifer. If you look at my channel, Jalen, you can look at my playlist. I got different categories and you can see all the different music I've been throwing in there. Yeah, it's a 6. It's a Whiting multi-fuel diesel. 1971 AM General Deuce and a half. What's going on with Alaska? You would think that that place would be far removed from the crazy stuff. Lauren, London has turned very woke. The cops are dancing in the streets at gay pride parades, and then they're arresting people for flying the Union Jack. They arrested a woman who was quietly standing across the street from an abortion clinic, not on an abortion clinic, and just quietly praying. Not verbally, just, it's just, they're allowing refugees and immigrants. They're pushing the white people out, they're pushing the British out. The same thing they're doing in Paris, the same thing they're trying to do in the US, this so-called multiculturalism. I love Chinese music. Yeah, Jennifer, London is really taking a dive. You know, Russia sold that to the United States for pennies on the dollar back in the day. I'm sure they regret it. But let's be honest. I thought of this. What is the U.S. going to do if Russia literally just invaded? What is the U.S. going to do? You can't send nukes. Canada's right there. Can't do it. I mean, I hate to tell you this, but before you think our military is so awesome, remember, they said the Titanic was unsinkable, and you saw what happened to that. Russia could pull something awful. Yes, beloved, accurate. Nobody is against legal immigration. I and many people are upset about this south of the border thing. The Democrats let them flood in so they can get votes. And we have to be bilingual, cater to Spanish, which I think is a bunch of horse manure. We don't make Nigerians speak, we don't We don't allow Nigerians to speak Nigerian. We don't allow Chinese to speak Chinese, the Hmong to speak Hmong. Everybody has to assimilate but the Spanish. I lived in Denver. Denver is predominantly Hispanic. I'm getting tired of it. It's like, if I go to Mexico, and I go to Mexico City and I demand everybody speak English, how far do you think I'm going to get with that? Oh, and can I have a driver's license and a free apartment and the right to vote? The Mexican government is going to go, haha, gringo, you funny man. Come on. It's not a blouse, Finley, but it is a girl's clothing. How can a man be a conservative and wear a woman's blouse? The same way I can take it off and end the whole dispute, and then you can stare at me shirtless and complain about that. Problem solved. It's a shirt, dude. There's a problem with a lot of Americans as they look at the attire and they think you can't do this. I can be whatever I want. It's 2025, but I am a grown man. Pond, it's fun, isn't it? Of course it goes against conservative views, but I'm staunchly against the Democrats. But I like wearing it. It's comfortable. I'm in my house. It's hot in Georgia, really hot. And I like the color. And what if I have a bit of feminine side? Is that wrong? I can't help that. It doesn't mean anything except that I'm a man and I'm comfortable with myself, even if it's a little off the wall. It does, Finley. It does 100%. And I'm aware of that. But, Finley, so does this. There are Christians gotten on my stream and quoted scripture telling me it's a sin for a man to grow his hair like this. And I say, okay. I had a nasty female get on one day. And don't tell me about a Nazarite vow. And don't tell me you look like Jesus. I said, lady, I don't even know what Jesus looked like. Those are white Anglo-Saxon paintings of him. The Bible says he was ugly. It says he was comely and that we would not desire him. The ironic thing is when God became flesh, he didn't walk in here like GQ and WWE, because that man, Jesus, had a message. No, it's the world around us that puts the good-looking and the rich and the college degrees. Jesus showed up as humble as could be, and he's God in flesh. That's pretty massive. No, I break the molds. I break the molds. Hey, Ex Mortis, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, doggy, what are you doing? Yeah, you're going to fuss with him. That's not fish, is it? Hey, Big Curly. Oh, Doggy's got his friends that he likes to spat with in here. He was going after Fish Finder the other day, and he said fish trash. That was quite the show. Fish was tail slapping Doggy, and Doggy was nipping at his fins. Yeah, but I have traditional values, Glass King. That's what you don't realize. I live in a town that's mostly African American. I don't like this rap music with the F word and the N word. I hate it. I've asked black people, why do y'all use the N word? Oh, it's all right. I said it is not okay. You'll burn the city down if a white guy says it, but you guys throw it around like it's passé. I don't understand that logic at all. What does a conservative look like? I'll tell you what, Glass King, if you were to hear the streams and go listen to some of my videos, you'd be shocked at what I believe. People said I should be in political office. I said, no, I shouldn't. I don't want to be up there with them clowns. But I'd do a better job running the state of California than Governor Newsom. That guy's a complete clown. I was born and raised in California. I can't believe what that idiot's doing to the state. And I'm not leadership material, but I guarantee you this. Maybe I ought to wear girls' clothes and say, you guys are doing DEI hire a white guy dressed like a girl. Stay true to your woke values. Put me in there. I'll make that state a shining state. All that homelessness, all that illegal stuff, it comes to an end. You ever notice that the real estate and the areas that the Democrats own have the highest amount of homelessness? Denver. Go look at the liberal cities and look at the amount of homelessness. It's disgusting. You know, they're pushing for socialism. Socialism. Let's talk about that. The Democrats push for socialism, but they make the highest money, $175,000 a year. I mean, don't get me started on all that. Oh my gosh, these people kill me. They've destroyed LA. They destroyed San Francisco. The northern part of the state wants to secede from it, and I don't blame them. I wish they could. You cannot afford to live in California as what I do. Pond, I've heard all that too. I went over to my black female friend's house from the place I worked at to help her move some carpet and stuff around. She throws it out there all the time. She goes, you know, I don't fool with them anti-GGARs down there at work. They ain't gonna come up and talk to me because they know not to mess with me. I asked her, I said, Lisa, you ever hear me use that word? She goes, no, Michael, but I use it, but you've never said it. Mac and cheese with jasmine rice, not peanut butter, tuna fish, and Amar, it's amazing how people get tripped up over this. Look, I'm going to be 60 next year. 60. No dye. All real. It blows me away. I never thought I'd see 60. But you know what? There's changes that happen up here when you get older. I do what I do to do social experiments. I do what I do because I'm curious. What does it feel like to wear something like this? It's comfy. I like the color. It's kind of sexy. Is it off the wall? Of course it is. But so am I. And I like to smash stereotypes. Drive around in a deuce and a half and wear this. That's what's really fun, is when I get out of the truck wearing the camisole and everybody's looking at the truck and they see me get out, they're like, double, what? Okay then. I like to watch people's reaction without staring. I go on about my business, but I'm observing I like to go to the Home Depot and Lowe's and get lumber for my home improvement stuff. It's really funny to watch people. Ex Mortis, how are you, man? And it's good to see you. It's been a while. Doggy told you to shut up right when you came in the room. What's up with that? Starting a business is more than I want to bargain for, Curly, because of the fact I stress about the idea of dealing with the taxes. You know, paying quarterly, keeping track of all that. I don't handle that stuff well. I don't like stress. It's easier to go to an employer and get your check. They take out all the crap and you're done. And at 60, what the heck am I going to start? I'm tired, man. I work hard. But when you get older, you don't want to do physical, grueling stuff. Well, I appreciate that, ABT. I get it. All right, I'll do my Mowgli look. I'll be right back. Let's go start the truck up. There you go, folks. Jungle Book. The Wild Thing. It poured like a dang torrent out here last night. No power steering in this pig either. You're gonna hear an alarm. It's gotta get up to 60 before the alarm goes off. It's nothing serious. I love this thing. It's a big old pig, but I love it. Yeah, this is one of the, I wanted to get a hard top, but they want $2,000 for a new one. That's too much. No, it's on the left, and it's no power steering. I just had it serviced. It's an old truck, man. This thing's what, 5 years younger than me? Had the oil changed, diesel, 3 diesel filters, 2 fuel filters, had 2 fan belts replaced. This thing will run better than anything from 1971, at least in rough terrain. It's a big pig of a truck. Start cooling down a little this week. We like cool downs in Georgia. It's hot too long. Hurricane Helene tore up this place. I just redid this fence this spring and summer. My neighbor redid his. 106-mile-an-hour winds down here. Trees, power lines. My roofing was damaged. I got a new roof out of the deal. Crazy. This whole backyard was underwater. Where I'm standing was underwater. Trash, leaves, limbs, everything. I had to clean this yard. 2 truckloads of shit came out of this yard. That was the 27th, so we're coming up almost on a year here. And I used this Deuce the other day. The Cummins is a good engine. I don't like them in the school buses because they're gutless pigs, but I like the old Caterpillars. I pulled that up out of the ground. Started cutting it up. I gotta finish it. I need to get all that dirt off so I don't dull the blade. I gotta get rid of this thing. This thing fell and just missed the house. It fell and lifted the fence out, broke this, and destroyed it. Cheery comment section today. Yep, and I got architectural shingles. I also had them pull the turbine vent. The hurricane blew that in the yard. I pulled the chimney, all the perforations, and I did a ridgeline vent. And just this week, all the galvanized water lines, the hot water went many moons before I bought the house, and they ran the CPVC up into the attic to service the bathroom and the kitchen. A couple of years ago, we got down to 11 degrees, which isn't cold, but for George it is. And I'm like, great, none of those pipes have insulation, so I put the sleeves on them. I didn't like them up in the attic, so last winter I replaced my water line because I got my water bill was $99 and 14,000 gallons. I'm like, that was what, 2 years ago? I called the plumber company and they wanted to charge a fortune to jackhammer the slab. I said, we're not doing that. So I forced my brain to think, and I added 2 inches to the studs, and I made a new channel, and I ran my own lines inside the front porch, up inside, all inside, and then I did built-in cabinets so it's not exposed, so it's legal. When you got an old house like this, you got to be smart. And all I did was do fancy, not fancy, but just trim to go in through the walls and get to the points. I made access panels. These are plywood 2 pieces where I can get in the back of the shower and the tub and the hot water line. Everything can be accessed. That's what's beautiful. So if I have a leak, I'm going to know where it is because it'll be dripping right there. It's no longer up above this. So when I bought the house, there was ceiling damage in that room. I had to replace sheetrock. It was all molded up and water damaged. But yeah, this is what I did. I just ran the pipes and I made it all look like I knew what the heck I was doing. This came out nice. My plumber came, I took the shiplap boards down. I took all the access. I disconnected the water line that goes to the attic from the main, and I capped it, hooked up the new hot water line, hooked up the T-valve to run the new cold water line to that instead of being up there. And I taught myself how to do things, and it's amazing how much money you save. And you feel like a man when you do something and it works. My plumber spent about 4 or 5 hours in here, charged me $165. Hook up everything, we turned on the system. Beautiful, not a leak. And when I ran the pipes, he put in a shutoff valve right in the porch, right in the enclosed porch. So I can shut off the water right there and work on anything in the house without having to go out to the meter box. And this was my project. I just finished this. Maple chest of drawers, dovetailed sides. See if we can get that in there. It's kind of hard to see. Dovetailed sides. I paid $35 for this. I put a new back on it because the back was all tore up. Sanded the body and the drawer fronts. Put stain. Then I did 2 layers of varnish. Scuffed up the knobs. Nice dresser. It's got new life to it. I've been working on this. I need to finish it. 1950s cabinet. I heat gun and scrape the paint off. And I'll do a sand on these doors, get the paint, the grease, soak the hardware. And I bought 4 of those for $50 out of a 50s house. That's my African American art walls. I do all kinds of things. I redid every room in this house solely. 3 of the 4 cabinets I've already redone. They came out beautiful. You can't even buy these in the store new. They don't make them like this. I got to put the shelves in them. I stripped the shelves. I just need to paint them. Did a kind of a lime mint green. And this is the other one that I salvaged. And I put that one. I had a roommate, a school teacher, lived in here for 15 months. She chose the curtains. I like these. She left them. She said, I'm going to let you have those because I like the nautical theme. I put in the window so you can see the laundry room, and you do have a point of where you can get out. And I built the closet, the shelf. I did the whole ceiling in tongue and groove. And I used an iron rod because, well, I've been with enough women in my life. They put too many clothes and the whole rod breaks. Put a little shelf up here. And I just did everything. I restored this. I brought this from Colorado. It was in rough shape. I sanded it, varnished it, and put some new bronze knobs on it. But yeah. The one that I just did, I'm thinking about listing it for $200. I think that's fair. Because you go to Walmart or you go to the store and buy a dresser that's particle board, you're going to pay how much? That's solid maple. It's old, and I put new life on it. The drawers have the original contact paper, and it's not all nastied up, so I just left it in there. Thank you, Big Curly. Yeah, I'm just seeing how things go. I may put it up. This is a piece I bought for $5 at the flea market. It had nasty brown paint on it. Little nightstand. I heat gunned it off and there was green stain. This paint came off right down the wood. Little cabinet, and I cleaned it up. And I just sanded it and varnished it, and it came out really cool. If I can get some light in here. But that came out really cool. I like distressed, as you can tell. All this is flea market stuff. All of this. And all these oak chairs. When I worked for the school district, they threw, well, this table went to the dumpster. I took it, stripped it. It was a veneer. I thought it was oak. Disappointed it wasn't. It was veneer on the top. I scraped the crappy in. There's another level, but the other stuff was tough, and I put a tough gloss paint on it. This has been a good dining room table. The bottom is solid oak. These chairs are made in Georgia. Other than a couple scratches, I got 4 free dining room chairs and a table. This is the outside of the house before they added all this on. And I'd go to Warrenton, Georgia. Stuff was $3 for 8 foot. Lowe's, it went up to, or Home Depot, $21 for this stuff, one board. That's crazy. Oh, I paid $5 for that thing. I don't know what I could sell it for, but I'd be able to sell it for a lot more, I'm sure. I gotta finish this damn bathroom. Now that I got my water done, I can do that. Neighbor gave me that. He does construction. Said the lady was gonna throw it away. It's brand new. Nice sink. So this was the old one. It was up on a stand. It's got a chip. I might throw it up on Marketplace for $10, see if somebody grabs it. I hate to throw it away because it's still good. I gotta finish the wall. I added this the other day. And now that I did that down to 1/2 inch, we got nice water pressure for the sink. And yeah, I did the, I put all this up. I gotta caulk the seams. I hate caulking, but it's a 7-year caulk. But I did all these walls. The drywall had started to sag in here because they used nails, and it was solid. I did a broom test on it, and I ran my first strips, found the joist, and it sucked it back up, and all I did was paint it different colors to offset the weirdness of it all. Did the wall in wood, and this would be a nice woman's bedroom because she'd get to look out on that green. That's fun. And I built this closet. I put a dowel bar up here, and the shelves could be removed to get up into the attic. I'm doing a distressed 50s door look. Yeah, it's all fun, man. And I did the galvanized metal around the stove, a little fireproofing. I hate caulking. I hate it. I'm good at using it. I just don't like it because Georgia, you get a lot of mold down here, and there's no vent in the bathroom. The wiring in this house is old, and it's fine for me. I'm not going to put all that money. This is not a neighborhood that meteorically rises. So the next person buys it, they can do all the wiring. I got to put a light up here, which I will. This sink was over here. I moved it and had my plumber hook it up. They had 8 feet of stuff snaking around, and the drain would just drain so slow. I had them roto-root. Boy, was it plugged. There was hair. There was all kinds of stuff in there. I had the stove over here. They used to have a gas log fireplace. This was all open. This used to be the front door, and I took it out, walled it off, and put in a window. There were 5 doors down this side of the house. I said, oh, hell no. They got a front and back door like a real house. Traumatized. Here is antenna. Well, thank you for taking care of Glass King. That's awesome. I'm glad we have some humor in the house. I'm going to cut it for a minute. I need to make a call to somebody. I will probably come back in a little while. It was all right, Nellie. Trying to get over the hump, man. But we'll get there. No, the stand. The dresser, yes. I love you guys too, man. We'll be back. I'm not going to make a call to my friend. She lived in here and we keep in touch every day. I miss her. There was no hanky-panky. You know, it's very hard to find a woman like that. You can get along with her. You're not doing sexual things. The best damn roommate I ever had. We went through Helene and we're coming up on the end. It's sad, you know. God really empowered me during that time. That tree fell. An hour before that tree fell, I knocked on her door. I said, I got to move your car in the truck. We got a hurricane out there. In the dark of morning. Moved the car in the truck. An hour later, we're at the living room window over here. And that tree over there, crack, bam! I'm like, whoa. I mean, I heard it. And I mean, the tops of the pines across the street were doing this. And I'm like, those are going to go. Couldn't believe the pines. But almost every oak in the neighborhood went down. Big ones, too. One crushed a house just half a block away. Unbelievable, man. Looked like a war zone. But I'll be back. I will grab you all later. Take care. Thanks for coming.